If I approach her, I'll get rejected. There you are, flirting with a cutie across the room. Maybe you're in a local bar. Maybe you're at the mall. Maybe you're at Starbucks. You want to approach. You want to start a conversation. You want to find out about her personality and see if she's into you like you are into her. But there's a voice in your head, a voice that holds you back, a voice that says, if I approach her, I'll get rejected. Let's get rid of that belief, shall we? If I approach her, I'll get rejected. People have been approaching other people since the dawn of time. People have been rejecting people since the dawn of time. This is just part of life. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Everybody loves conversations with interesting strangers. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. How did you let such a goofy belief approach your brain? If I approach her, I'll get rejected. I recommend you reject such a goofy belief. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. How do you know if you've never even talked to her before? How do you determine what an approach is? How do you determine what rejection is? If I approach her, I'll get rejected. You're only saying that because you feel nervous. But what's the difference between feeling nervous and feeling excited? If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Every human on earth was made by two people who were once upon a time strangers. And one of those strangers had to start a conversation with the other stranger. And that means there are 8 billion pieces of evidence on earth that says that rejection is not in any way a foregone conclusion. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. If you approach her, you won't get rejected. You'll have an interesting conversation with an interesting person. And the more conversations with strangers you have, you'll not only become more confident, but you'll also become more attractive. And this will decrease your chances of getting rejected. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. If you don't approach her, you're actually rejecting yourself before she has a chance to. And if you reject yourself, everybody else will agree and accept with your self-evaluation and helpfully reject you to do what you want them to do to you. Therefore, the less you approach, the more rejection you'll have to face. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Have you ever approached anybody under any circumstances and not gotten rejected? If I approach her, I'll get rejected. The bigger picture is just to realize that rejection is part of life and to slide through life and approach whoever you want for whatever reason you want, and slowly build up an army of supporters who don't reject you so you can more easily live a happy and satisfying life. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. It's what you do every day that adds up to your life. If you never approach anybody, you'll never create any new relationships. But if you consistently approach people on a daily basis, you'll slowly and consistently build up your social confidence, your social skills, and your romantic possibilities. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Everybody loves to be approached respectfully by confident and interesting people. And the more people you approach, the more experience you'll have, and you'll naturally become much more interesting. And the more you approach, the more confident you'll become. Therefore, the more you approach, the more people will openly welcome you as you do approach. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. As you continue to approach people, you'll eventually find somebody who accepts and appreciates you the way you truly are and will never reject you. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. The more important thing is to value yourself so much, to appreciate yourself so much that no matter what happens, even if you get rejected, you'll still enjoy and value the experience. After all, everything you experience in life is something to appreciate and respect. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Once you get that silly belief out of your head, you'll find yourself surrounded by people who love you and love to be around you. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. Yes, you're probably right. You should probably never approach anybody ever again. You should probably never make eye contact with anybody ever again. In fact, you should become a recluse and figure out a way to make a lot of money. That way you can hire a team of helpers who will go out in the world and get the things you need, so you never have to approach a fast food worker and ask for an extra large value pack number 2. If I approach her, I'll get rejected. How can the more you approach, the less you get rejected? How can the less you approach, the more you get rejected? For best results, watch this video a few times before you want to go out and become a highly effective social operator and meet some pretty ladies. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. To learn more, please visit mindpersuasion.com.